Hey guys, this is What If here. Today I just want to talk to you about the Billboard Music Awards performance that Michael Jackson did. Not really him, it's a hologram. Just want to kind of discuss it, kind of share my thoughts for a bit, and just kind of discuss about it. And I'm going to shut my TV off, which I should have done before. But first thing I want to say, well, my first reaction when I saw it is I was honestly shocked because the quality of it looked real. Like, it looked legitimately real. Like, as if you can actually physically touch him, like, in a sense. It looked that good. The body style, like, the body looked like MJ. The hair looked like MJ. Body-wise, hair-wise, the detail he did on the hair, like, the physics of, like, like how the jacket he kind of, that golden jacket he kind of wore kind of moves when he was dancing, how the hair moved, everything in that kind of area. Man, did it work. And they even had like other multiple holograms in the background and stuff as like backup dancers or background dancers. I don't know what exactly terms called, but those were cool. And there was a point when they were doing the act, and then the human beings kind of turn into like this big. They kind of like, I don't know. I can't describe it too well, but like, there are people, and all of a sudden they're like a big flash, and they go back into the ground. It's like, okay, well, this hologram technology has potential, and if it could do little tiny stuff like that, oh god, technology, it's gonna be crazy. There's a few things that I was kind of a little worried about. I didn't really like too much in a sense. First was the face. From what I've heard, the face was more like CG, apparently. So it did look a bit wonky, though. I looked at the video and I analyzed it. I zoomed in, zoomed out, frame by frame. It kind of looks like him. Like, if he spins and you kind of stop when his face is kind of like here, oh, you can sort of see it. But I feel like they were trying to do like the 91 black or white kind of music video look, like MJ look to him. But I think the CGI doesn't mix well, or whatever they did, it just looked a bit off. Like, basically, if you watched it like on the Vivo version, the far away angles are great, but when like the very first time you see him, when he's on like the chair, that looked a bit wonky, and at the end when you see another really good close-up, it looks a bit wonky, but everything else, you really can't tell too much. Like, if you're from a distance, it looks great, but if you're up close, it kind of looks a little bit wonky. But again, if you look at the Tupac one, look at the MJ one, in terms of just intensity, there's so much more. With the Tupac one, there's not too much dancing. It's only just one guy. It's just, Tupac hologram. MJ, there's, him and like 5 or so many dancers. I mean, there's a lot more to it in the MJ one than the Tupac one. Which one looked better, that's completely up to you. I mean, I honestly thought the MJ one looked even better, because the one little instance was, when MJ was standing still, there was no issue. You couldn't tell, he was just standing still. With the Tupac one, at the very end, when he's standing still, if you look at the bottom of the screen really carefully, you might miss it if you don't pay attention. When you look at the bottom of the screen when he's standing still, you can kind of see him kind of like moving for whatever reason. So that's kind of my argument of the MJ one being better in a sense, because more people, more hologram people, the consistency of it was a little bit more fluid, and no kind of weird errors where people are moving when they're standing still. The dancing, I did feel was a bit off. I've heard sources that they used an impersonator to kind of interpret some of the moves, which I'm honestly not too sure. I'm just kind of, a lot of it's kind of like up in the air. I'm not 100% sure, but correct me if I'm wrong. But like the dancing, it just kind of, the dancing, you can either look at it in two ways. One way is basically like, oh, it's god awful, it's terrible, but at the same time, it's like, well, yeah, it may not be good, but it makes you appreciate MJ's dancing ability even more because he was that unique. He was that different. He did make his movements like it was part of the song, like it belonged to it and it flowed. So you can appreciate, appreciate it in that kind of sense. But as the hologram, I can kind of, pass it up a bit because, I mean, it's not, like, amazing. It's not MJ. You can't, it basically, even with all the technology we have, we can't recreate MJ's talent, which is kind of badass if you think about it. But I wish they did just a little bit. My biggest problem was that the moonwalk was terrible. That's everything else you can say, okay, it's not as intense as MJ's other stuff. I mean, it's not as good, but the moonwalk, and now people have been saying, it's like, oh, this is so bullshit because he did the moonwalk here. He doesn't do that in every song. It's just like, I know people. I mean, no shit, MJ doesn't do the moonwalk in every single song he does, but it is a trademark he made, and when people, for the most part, want to see an MJ thing, is a moonwalk at some point. Even during live performances, there would be only 2 instances, I believe, where he would do it. Actually 3. One was during, Stranger in Moscow act, a little bit at the end. Smooth Criminal, but it was kind of like a lazy one. And Billie Jean, where you get it, like, twice. So, I mean, it's not like he incorporated every song, but as a tribute to him, it's necessary to kind of incorporate the moonwalk in. I mean, it's kind of like expected. So that didn't bother me, but the way it was done was just terrible. Because, I mean, with the moonwalk, you really have to go on the timing and the snapping of the legs. And you also kind of have to let your legs kind of go out a little bit. I don't know how to describe it, but he was kind of like moonwalking like this, where the moonwalk should be kind of like a little bit far back and then switch. And all in the timing of the transitions of from, left foot being up and the right foot being down and all that transitioning kind of stuff. It has to be really good, like a snap, like a I don't necessarily say a force of nature, but it has to be really good on the timing. And here it just looks so short, quick, and terrible. It really looked bad. Everything else, I can say, is okay. I mean, I could have gone with a lot better. But again, this is the first time I think they tried something like this. So if they do it again in the future, maybe if they did like oh god, that'd be actually really cool if they since they have the technology to do a hologram, maybe in like the next 5 or 10 years, they can do like a hologram concert, and they can do it on This Is It. MJ wanted to do This Is It as a concert, regardless of all the. He only wanted to do 10, but they made him do 50. I don't want that to be discussed. I know MJ wanted to do a concert of This Is It, and he had the songs. Everything's there. The movie's there. The rehearsal footage is there. Make it be reality. You can kind of do this with the hologram. I mean, I don't think in the next. I don't think obviously 2014, but maybe like 2020, 2021. I think the technology would probably be there to do like an actual hologram concert. I think that'd be pretty fucking cool. Like an hour and a half concert of that. That'll be amazing. I think it's quite possible. And if they're doing holograms like this, then eventually we're gonna see all of the great music legends come back, in the hologram form. Like, Jimi Hendrix, freaking Elvis, John Lennon, I think I just said him. Freaking, I mean, it'd be crazy. It would be crazy. Notorious Big. Honestly, I think that's a possibility. I don't know when it will happen, but it's a possibility. And overall, I can say this hologram performance was good, but it could be a lot better. But it could have been a lot worse. People kind of give this a little bit too much shit, because when I did first see it, I wasn't quite sure how to react, because it does feel strange, because at the same time, but it does make you feel sad, because it's like, well, I mean, people could be like, I like it, but, it's not really him, and I can understand people feeling like that. Honestly, I do think it's kind of, when you watch this, like, man, it's kind of sad, because, like, he should still be here. Like, this shouldn't have happened. He shouldn't have died the way he did. And it does make you sad, because, like, what if, he was alive and somehow did this, how awesome would it be if this was pretty okay? Then what could have been in store? I don't know, just a lot of what ifs, but the performance overall I thought was good. It could have been a lot better. The moonwalk was terrible. The dancing was a bit stiff, but it was tolerable. Like, you know, I've been watching it over and over again, so obviously it must not be too god awful. I don't know all the stories. There's a lot of conspiracies. Not really conspiracies, but like stories that like it's an impersonator. It's not really him. Then people are saying no, it's actually him. They just kind of use the impersonator, kind of use some of the moves the impersonator used into the hologram. But it's people saying, you know, it was an impersonator. They used the hologram to impersonate. Christ, I don't know what the hell it was. It was like they used an impersonator and they hologram the impersonator and stuff. And there's been a lot of stuff going on. I don't know what's true, but that's really it. Oh, I gotta talk about the ending. How they kind of ended it and how they started it. How they started it, I'm not too sure because even on Vivo you can't really tell. But to my knowledge, is that there's like this big painting, this big kind of like big painting, and then the painting comes to life, including MJ, and then the whole thing begins, which is that's cool. And the way it ends, he kind of gets back on his on his chair, and then he kind of goes back into the painting. It's like, okay, that's cool. That was really cool. I was like, oh, MJ would love that. That would be, I knew he would love that part. That was so cool. I still think that's really cool. Like, but if they're gonna do this in the future, hopefully it's more accurate towards MJ. Obviously it can't be 100%. Nobody can recreate MJ, but a little bit more. Maybe the dancing can be a little bit tired. Maybe they can actually take samples of his actual dancing in music videos and live performances. I mean, it's not like it's hard to find on YouTube. I mean, it's all over. You can freaking find one and use that as like kind of like a sample to use. I think if they do this in the near future, hopefully it'll be more intense, a little bit more better with technology nowadays. I mean, look at how much changed in 2012 and 2014. I mean, I think by like 2020 it should be amazing. So we'll see, but overall I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. Just the moonwalk was probably the absolute worst part of the entire thing. But that's really it. So I'll see you later. This is What If sign out. I'll catch you all later, and have a nice day. Maybe I'll talk about the Escape album that's already out. I don't know. I do want to talk about that, but 15-minute time limit thing for YouTube is kind of being a bitch. So yeah, I think I'll kind of send this now and make the Escape album another time. Then so this is What If. I'll catch you all later. So have a nice day.